Good morning, viewers. You're welcome to a fresh episode of DDM Morning Show in a new week. As always, I am joined by DDM News analyst Ibrahim Umar Wase. Ibrahim, you're welcome to DDM Morning Show today.
Thank you, Mr. Tochukurafel. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right, today is Monday, August 25th, 2025, and we offer you these interesting stories. At the Nigerian Bar Association 2025 Annual General Conference held in Enugu, Julius Malema, leader of South Africa's economic freedom fighters, delivered his stirring keynote speech that captured the intersection of law, activism, and liberation. Malema emphasized the inseparable link between the legal profession and the cause for African liberation, calling members of the legal fraternity instruments of justice. He underscored that while activists wage battles through protests and government participation, lawyers interpret laws, practice justice, and fight in courts to defend the defenseless. Malema praised the profession for its sacrifice, intellect, and commitment, highlighting the unique tools lawyers use, indigenous law, common law, constitutional mandates to not only seek personal victories, but to establish laws that govern societies fairly for generations. Malema's message resonated deeply with the conference's theme, Stand Out and Stand Tall, encouraging legal practitioners not simply to uphold laws, as they are but to bravely oppose unjust laws rooted in neocolonialism and oppression. He reminded attendees of Africa's painful history, slavery, colonial exploitation, denial of dignity, and pointed to a historical truth. What was once legal was often fundamentally unjust. The call was clear. Lawyers today must be agents of change who identify, speak out against, and dismantle laws that perpetuate corruption, inequality, and state oppression. Malema framed this duty neither as an endorsement of anarchy nor lawlessness, but as an imperative to uphold true justice and the dignity of African peoples. Malema's speech at a premier legal conference in Nigeria emerges amid growing demands across Africa for transformative justice. Countries like Nigeria and South Africa face persistent governance challenges, endemic corruption, poverty, and leaders using state power to entrench themselves, challenges that Malema's EFF vehemently opposes. Now, his address expertly bridged activism with jurisprudence, sending a powerful message that the legal profession should no longer be a passive enforcer, but a proactive challenger of unjust systems that harm the marginalized. The implication is profound. Malema invites Nigeria's legal community into a bold partnership with activists to fight corruption and inequality using the rule of law, not as a tool for oppression, but as a vehicle for liberation. Now, this marks a shift in the role of law from maintenance of order to an instrument for genuine social transformation. All right, let's talk about it. Mr. Due Process, how significant do you think Malema's visit to Nigeria is? Because many people are, suspicious of him. This is a man, of course, he is in the opposition in South Africa, but his rhetoric, his extremist ideologies, people are saying that the NBA in Nigeria should not have invited such a man who has once called or several times called for the killing of the white men in his country. But here is he. What do you think about it?
Yes, I was very excited watching Malema's speech. I listened to him, not just, I listened to him wholesomely. Malema presented a very Pan-African speech. I listened from beginning to end. Malema is a blessing to Africa, not just South Africa. And he's rooted in a country where the blacks are shortchanged, where the blacks have no rights, where the rights of the black man in South Africa is being alienated. And Malema imagines he has come from a very humble background, and he has ensured that He dedicated his time, his energy, his resources, his voice to the freedom of the black race. And I'm very happy seeing that he was invited to Enugu, where he presented a very powerful Pan-African speech. There's no way you be a black man across the globe and you will not be proud of Malema, except you are a product of European exploiters who have come to exploit Africa. Then you will hate him. But if you are an African that feel cheated over the years, over the centuries, then you'll be happy to have a person in respect of Julius Malema. I'm proud to be an African when I listen to his speech. His speech resonates a lot of things within me, and I feel more dedicated to the activism towards the Rescue Nigerian mission as well as Africa. He made a very key point how Nigeria under Murtala Mohammed came to South Africa, helped them to fight the apartheid war, said enough was enough, and the time for the African freedom was rightly rooted in the speech of Murtala Mohammed, who put his foot on the ground, sent his soldiers, and raised millions of dollars to rescue South Africa from the apartheid regime. And he's a very, very commendable leader. And I'm happy to see him in Parliament making all the arguments for the black race. Well, he's very crude in his approach, but the current racism that we are facing as a continent calls for such an approach, and I commend him heavily for all he stands for and all he represents. And I also want to encourage Nigerian opposition to take a cue from him. He doesn't pet his words. He said it so blunt and so crude. He has no respect for any super race that looks down on the African race. He stands for Pan-Africanism and is always clear in doing that. So I commend him for that, and I thank him for visiting Nigeria, for raising a lot of more comrades to join the Pan-African team.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim.
All right, Mr. Tutukurafel, thank you for having me once again. And I like Julius Malema so much. He's one of the people I look up to. And I missed that program. I wanted to went there myself and see the person that I've been trying to become like in the future. One thing about Malema, you might dislike what he's saying, but one thing is he is saying the truth. Even those who dislike what he's saying confirm that what he's saying is the truth. And you make mention of calling for the killing of white people in South Africa. No, that's not accurate. There was a chance in South Africa, kill the Boers, the farmers, and the Boers mean the farmers, which predominantly are the white folks. But it was just a chant during the liberation movement from the apartheid, chanted by the ANC, headed by Nelson Mandela. Will you call Nelson Mandela someone who was calling for the killing of white folks? No, when he became the South African president, his action shows that. So it was just a chant. And South Africa is a democratic state. They went to code some of the political parties, most especially political parties that are predominantly white. They took that matter to court that the EFF should stop chanting that chant today. And they won in the court. And in a democratic society, anything that passed through the scope of law, it is, should I say, approved within that scope of law. So he's not calling for the killing of South Africans, and there was no record whatsoever that the EFF party have attacked any white folk in South Africa. It was just a chant, and some white folks in South Africa understands that, and that's why some of the people that followed the South African president to Donald Trump, they said the same thing. They said it was just a chant. He was chanting that, and it was not part of the government policy because they were defending their government. But there was no record whatsoever that the EFF were attacking the white folks in South Africa. It might sound absurd, but that's the reality of their country. I'm not part of the people that support people to be chanting, kill a particular group of people, even though it's a chant. They are not taking any action, but I'm not in support of it because it may sound inflammatory. It might sound derogatory to this particular group of people that you're calling for their death. But at the same vein, this is the law of the land, and they pass through the code, and the code approved that it is not derogatory, it is not inflammatory, and it is not in any way calling for the killing of the white folks in South Africa. So I love Julius Malema, and if I will say Julius Malema, he's one of the people that I look up to, only behind, in terms of Pan-Africanism, is only behind Professor Patrick Lumumba. He's the person that if I see this man, I love him so much. And I love Julius Malema also. And we lack this Pan-Africanist in Africa. We just have our own sort of activists. And most of our activists, they are being, their activism is fueled by emotion, not by reason, not by even ideology. They are just seeing the things that is happening to them. Yeah, genuinely, they need to have concern over. But they forget about the right of others in the process. But this is not Julius Malema, what's the name? Professor Patrick Lumumba. They stand for the truth, not the popular opinion. They stand for what's right, not what's generally accepted. And that's the definition of activism. Thank you.
Right, that's the much we can take on DDM Morning Show today. Thank you for your contribution and time, Mr. Due Process.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, viewers. Thanks for your contribution also and your time. If you love this video, do not hesitate to hit the like button, make your comments, share the video, and subscribe to our channel DDM TV for you to get more insights on trending stories in Nigeria and beyond. I'm Toshku Raphael, joined by Ibrahim Umar Wase. See you tomorrow for a fresh edition. Bye-bye.